So this is the first of our videos for SPD Awareness Month, so Sensory Processing Disorder Awareness Month. So every day in October I'm going to be posting a new video to YouTube, and we're going to be covering all about sensory processing difficulties. So right from the beginning, what they are, how we can recognise them, relating to each specific sense, how we can support them. We'll have some insight into how some people are experiencing their surroundings, and then importantly I'm going to give you ways, practical ways that you can help to support their sensory needs, so sensory development, so we can all integrate within society and everywhere can be a lot more inclusive. Okay, so the first video, I think it's quite important to start right at the basics. So I'm going to be explaining very briefly what sensory processing disorder is. Okay, so it might also be known as sensory processing dysfunction, sensory integration dysfunction, or sensory processing difficulties. It all depends on where you live and what terminology they use there amongst the professionals. So a sensory processing disorder is when our brain finds it difficult to do its most important job. Okay, so the job that our brain does is organising all of the information that it receives for us to be able to respond to it, so to react to it, to process it, to understand it. So our brain will be receiving information from each of our senses, so from our eyes, so vision, from our ears, hearing. But when that information is received by our brain, it finds it difficult to focus, to process that information to become a meaningful response, so for us to be able to understand it and interpret it. So a sensory processing disorder is when our brain finds it difficult to process the sensory information that it's being received. So this might mean that we might seem to become overloaded amongst the specific sense, or we might not receive enough information from a sense. So we're going to be covering that throughout the month. But a sensory processing disorder can impact someone's life in such a way that they find it difficult to know how to respond within a particular environment, because their brain is finding it difficult to help them to process that into a meaningful response.